How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is, of course, running its gargantuan end-of-the-year sale. They are also running a PlayStation Indie sale. Gonna focus on the end-of-the-year deal sale in this video, taking a look at deals under the price of $10. A ton of games. Some of this stuff is in PlayStation Plus Extra. We'll try to get through everything pretty quickly, just so we can hit all the games. But let's get started. Resident Evil 2 Remake, 75% off for $9.99. Brand new low on this game. Resident Evil 2, the remake, really is a standard bearer for what a remake should be. It is just a tremendously done remake, and I'm not a big survival horror guy. Like, I like the Resident Evil games, don't get it twisted, but survival horror isn't my genre, preferred genre, but Resident Evil 2 was a fantastic game. Is it super lengthy? No, but you're not going into a Resident Evil game for length. At $9.99, the price you're paying now, you're getting a quality experience that you can get in, have a good time with, have an invested experience with, and enjoy it all together. If you never played Resident Evil 2 originally, don't worry about it. Like, I played it well after it came out. I had no attachment towards this game, but I went into RE2, loved it. $9.99 is a steal. Definitely go check that out. Next up, Devil May Cry HD Collection, 67% off for $9.89. Now, this is not a remake. These are not remakes, and that is very prevalent throughout this collection. This, of course, includes Devil May Cry 1, 2, and 3. Two of those games are considered classics on the PlayStation 2. Devil May Cry 2 is the one that people see as, like, a very not great game. But DMC 1 and 3 are fantastic, and they definitely show their age. Wonky camera angles, visuals are dated for sure. These are early PS2 titles, but if you're a fan of action games, I still think you're going to have a good time with these. And even Devil May Cry 2, I don't think it was as bad as people made it out to be, but yeah, obviously not at the level of DMC 1 and 3. The timeline and order of the Devil May Cry games are all over the place as well, so bear that in mind. I don't really get into these games from a narrative standpoint, even though I know a lot of people that do. It's just not really my cup of tea, but $9.89 for this collection, I think that's quite good. Next up, I just gotta mention it so you guys can roast me in the comment section. The Order 1886, baby, 50% off for $9.99. Look, I think this would be a really, really good buy if it was $4.99. $9.99 is okay. Guys, I spent $60 on this game. I remember going in the store and my dumbass bought this game for $60 and then it ended up being like 5 hours long. And really, that was the main issue with the game, because I think from a lore standpoint, a narrative standpoint, it was an incredibly interesting game. Very basic gameplay, third-person cover-based shooter. Like, it's nothing crazy. You got some cool powers and whatnot. But, man, I think that this game set the table for something that could have developed into being an incredible IP. We'll never get an Order 1887, we'll never get an Order 1886-2 or whatever they would have ultimately called it, but it's a very fascinating game, and I still think people should play it. Maybe you can make the argument $10 is too expensive. I can understand that. $7.99 or $4.99 ideally would be the best price, but again, if you want a game that's relatively short, you can get in and get out over the course of like a weekend, or honestly, if you got like 5 hours, I mean, if you got a free day, you can beat this game in one sitting. Very easy platinum trophy as well, so yeah, want to give that a shout. $9.99 for that. Next up, we have Uncharted, the Nathan Drake Collection, $9.99 on this. It is available through PlayStation Plus Premium, but that's top tier, and we're all memeing on the top tier. You guys know how it is. Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, or Uncharted 1 very much still has that 2007 game syndrome, where a lot of games from 2007 have not aged all too well, but their sequels aged very well. Uncharted 1 100% shows its age. It's still an okay game, but yeah, it shows its age. Uncharted 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, much like Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2. Uncharted, I loved Uncharted 2. I've completed that game like an absurd amount of times. It's gotta be like Uncharted 2 and Assassin's Creed 4, those two games have to be the games I've replayed just an absurd amount of times. But Uncharted 2 is tremendous. The pacing in the game is so good. The visual upgrades from the first game, it's just really, really good. And even though it came out 13 years ago, over 13 years ago at this point, holds up fairly solid. And the same thing can be said about Uncharted 3, a very good game as well. All three for $9.99, I think is quite good. I do fully expect Uncharted 1 to get a full-on remake at some point by Sony, or this entire trilogy to get a full-on remake at some point, because Sony likes printing money, and it seems like these remakes print them money. Next up, we have Infamous Second Son, $9.99 for this, available through Plus Extra. Loved Infamous Second Son, man, even though I think it is probably the weakest of the three Infamous games, but honestly, like, I wasn't that hot on Infamous 2. Like, I loved Infamous 1, and Infamous 2 was good, good, but not as good as 1 in my opinion. Second Son, I think, is a really, really good game. I just think it could have used a little bit more time cooking in the oven, because I understand why it came out when it did, just because the PlayStation 4 had just launched like 3 to 4 months earlier, and, you know, they needed to get big budget games out, and Second Son was absolutely a big budget game. Still was very good. Did not find Delsin as compelling of a main character as Cole, but he's still alright. I think he's more compelling in the hero route. He just becomes kind of out there when you play him as a villain, but that's from my recollection of the game. I definitely need to go back and play through this game again, but yeah, $9.99 for it. I think it's pretty good, so check that out. Next up, Borderlands The Handsome Collection, also available through Plus Premium, $9.99. You get Borderlands 2 pre-sequel, and the majority of the DLC. You are missing the Lilith and the Fight for the Sanctuary, excuse me, that DLC you're missing, but you're getting the quality stuff here. Borderlands 2, I think most people would consider to be the best. I would say that's a pretty common statement as far as people that have played all the games. I love Borderlands 2. I thought it was tremendous, and I thought Borderlands 2, maybe it was because I played this game when it came out and I was a bit younger, so the comedy clicked with me more, but I feel like with Borderlands 3, and especially with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, like, the comedy just does nothing for me anymore. But with Borderlands 2, I remember every time I played this game, I would find it pretty humorous, so take that for what you will. Gameplay loop is great, the DLC adds quite a bit of content, and pre-sequel is pretty decent as well, so yeah, $9.99 for this collection is quite good. Speaking of games I've replayed, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, 70% off for $9. Love this game, talked about it ad nauseum at this point. Bummer it doesn't have a PS5 upgrade, but what can you do? Still a fantastic game, and Edward Kenway is one of the most compelling main characters out of an Assassin's Creed game. Maybe compelling isn't the right word, I just find him to be very likable. Like, he's hilarious, and I know most people, I think, would say Ezio has more depth to him, and that's why people really like Ezio as a character. Ezio also had 3 games of development, where Edward only had 1 with AC4, but nonetheless, Black Flag was a great game. Naval combat was pretty good. Open world is gigantic, and there's so much to do. If you want 100% this game, it's going to take you quite a while, because pack a lunch. It's quite an undertaking. Even just going through the main story, which is fairly decent, I think, is going to be a trip. So $9 for that, quite good, in my humble opinion. Next up, Dragon Age Inquisition Game of the Year Edition, 85% off for $6. Man, Dragon Age Inquisition was one of the first really great RPGs of the PS4 era. I believe it did come out on the PS3 as well. I'm fairly certain it did. Nonetheless, good game. Solid visuals. I know it's a little bit buggy on the PS4, at least in my experience. It was a little bit hit or miss on that aspect. I thought the gameplay was solid. Yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition is just a solid RPG that, at this point, probably some of you guys missed, but for $6, I think it's a quality pickup. And I know Dragon Age is in the news cycle right now with Dreadwolf getting that cinematic, so not a bad time to check out Inquisition. Next up, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition. This is available on Plus Extra, of course, at $9.99 for this, upgraded on PS5. You just don't get the Anniversary Edition content if you just have the Special Edition. I believe that's how it works. I have the Anniversary Edition, but nonetheless, the Special Edition is fine. Skyrim's a classic, man. Skyrim's one of those games that I've also completed an absurd amount of times. It's a game that I'll constantly go back to. It's one of the most iconic games of all time, and I think for good reason. It's just got so much content. I love the world. I love the soundtrack, the music, the atmosphere. I just find Skyrim's a game that, even though you got flying dragons attacking you, I find it to be a very soothing game. Like, sometimes it's just a relaxing game to go through. So, I don't know, $9.99 I think is a great buy, so check that out. Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration, 80% off for $6. Another game I've recommended ad nauseum. It's a fantastic game. Like, I love Tomb Raider since that 2013 reboot, man. And Shadow of the Tomb Raider definitely had its issues, but Rise I thought was damn near as good of a Tomb Raider game as you're gonna get. The gameplay was great. It opened up the game, comparatively speaking, to 2013. Had a good bit of content. This 20-year celebration edition has some bonus stuff as well. $6 is a no-brainer. Definitely go check that out. Next up, we have Ratchet Clank 2016, 50% off for $9.99. Whatever reason, this is not available on Plus Extra or Plus Premium. You would think it would at least be available in Plus Premium. This is a ground-up remake from the original Ratchet Clank. It's more so based on elements of the original Ratchet Clank. There's a lot different with it, but it still has that quirkiness, that zaniness, over-the-top aspects. Definitely not on the technical level of Rift Apart, let's be real here, but still very good, and yeah, fairly easy platinum trophy as well if you want to get that. You do have to beat the game a couple of times, since I think there's like a challenge mode you have to play through after you beat the game, and then you have to max out the weapon levels, all that stuff. $9.99 I think is a pretty good deal for Ratchet & Clank 2016 though. Batman Arkham Knight, Premium Edition, $5.99. So the Premium Edition is really what adds value here. However, if you don't have Arkham Asylum or Arkham City, and you never played those games, you want to wait for the Arkham Collection to go on sale. That goes on sale for $9, and that'll give you everything. So yeah, bear that in mind. But otherwise, Arkham Knight Premium Edition is really solid. I feel like this game has gotten even better over time in terms of reception, because I remember when Arkham Knight came out, I think a lot of people did not view this game at the level of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, and maybe that was because of the Batmobile sections. I thought the Batmobile sections were fine. The gameplay here is just fantastic. Narratively, I think it's good. The Premium Edition, of course, includes the bonus content, so you definitely want to get this version of the game. $6 though, fantastic, good bit of content here as well, so definitely go check that out. Next up, we have Prey Digital Deluxe Edition, 75% off for $9.99. Prey base game, Typhon Hunter, and Moon Crash. Very, very atmospheric sci-fi first-person shooter. I know that Arcane did not want to, I believe, title this game Prey. I think they just got handed it, and they were like, hey, you got to title this game Prey. Of course, Prey was originally like a 2006 Xbox 360 game that wasn't received all that well. But this game's really good, has a good bit of content for a single-player FPS, and the vibe of this game is really what you're getting into it for. I wouldn't say it's like a horror game, but it's definitely got its spooky elements to it as well. Very enjoyable game that went a little bit under the radar, so go check it out. I hope this game at some point, or Arcane does a game that's very similar to this, because what Arcane's doing right now, not really vibing with like that Redfall game, but we'll see how it turns out. Obviously, we ain't playing it on PlayStation anyway, so better have an Xbox or a PC. Lastly, I want to give a shout out to both Valkyria Chronicles 1 and Valkyria Chronicles 4. Remastered is $6, Valkyria Chronicles 4 is $9. With VC4, you ideally do want to pick up the Complete Edition. They do have the Valkyria Chronicles Remastered and the Valkyria Chronicles 4 bundle for $14, which I believe would make you save, yeah, $1. So if you want to get both, that is an option. Valkyria Chronicles 1 is great. 4 just follows in suit with a lot of the aspects of 1, but both are really solid games, and I think they're pretty engaging JRPGs for newcomers to the genre as well, just because, you know, they're emotional war stories. They have their cliche moments for sure, but they've got a lot of solid characters. The gameplay, I think, is pretty good. VC1 can get pretty challenging, and there's one level that literally made me want to almost break my controller, but nonetheless, it's pretty good, and Valkyria Chronicles 4 is solid as well. I think VC1 has the better main character, but, you know, both main characters out of both those games aren't like super, they don't have a ton of depth to them. They're just good guy main characters more so. I think Valkyria Chronicles 3 had the best main character, but we'll never get that game over here in the States, unfortunately, so that's a bummer. But nonetheless, these two definitely worth a play. And that'll do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals available under $10. Really got to cover these sales a little bit more, but we got till December 22nd to pick anything up, and then right after that, I believe the holiday sale will kick off, so a lot to get into. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Links to everything down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.